The pictures I sent you today?
No, I have not. Oh, we are live. Good evening, everyone. On
Good
a
evening,
short notice,
everybody.
uh, we got Sally back with us again. Um, Hello, Sharon, Long Island Bigfoot, and at Northern Illinois Sasquatch researchers. Edge, it's good to see you guys. We're running a little bit behind. I've been out of town and literally haven't been home 20 minutes. Um, let's see. I'm making sure everything's updating on there. I didn't have time to get everything put together on it, but it's all good. We got a few people showing up. Yeah, I didn't have time to look at the pictures. I had to drive coming back
Yeah.
because he hurt his back. So, but I will look at him. I'll be as soon as we're done. I'll be going to bed so I can get up in the morning to be out of here by 4 o'clock. It's been a long day.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I figured it has been.
uh, so you had your the most recent um, happening from the big guys was they hit your house again. Is that?
Well, it sounded
Am I,
like somebody turned the porch off of the house. We
oh
heard
wow.
knock when they come from the front room, and Frank was in the back, and I couldn't figure out what in the world was going on. I said he was doing something in the back. I go, "What are you doing back here?" And I went back, and there was an awful noise back here. He said it sounded like somebody's turning the porch off. I went and looked, turned the light on. Whatever's out there took off.
Oh
It sounded
wow.
like it's turned the porch down. We waited till the next morning. We're half afraid to look out unless the lights is on because you don't know it's standing out looking at you.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't even go out there. I'm afraid of them. I won't go out at night. The For you guys that are just coming in, I see we got Lars is here, Sharon and JK, Long Island Bigfoot. Um, you guys, if you're not familiar with Sally, she's had a history with the Bigfoot, a lifelong experiences from the time she was a little child, and she has a lot of activity at her home. And we had her on a couple times before, and she let us know where she was at, what type of activity was happening, and she's had more activity since the last time we had her on. And so we invited her to come back where she can share the things that are happening now, the new stuff, and she's shared some pictures with me. I have not looked at the one she sent today. I've been on the road traveling, trying to get back home, but she sends them to me time to time when she gets new stuff, and she has some bizarre things that they catch on film. There's Barb and Butch, brother Butch, and Brett, Pork and Beans. Good evening, everyone. It's glad to see you guys. Thank y'all so much for jumping over and listening to Sally share what she's got going on. And I'll let her go from the last time that we had talked. Uh, you having problems with every time you get in the bathtub, they would
Yeah,
mess with you guys, and they were getting
yeah. He
into
said
the
I get in
food.
the bath or something to be a rock thrown at the house. And so far, I haven't heard anything since it's really gotten real cold here. We've been having like the freezing cold from the Antarctica coming down, and I haven't
Oh
heard or
yeah,
seen it. So yesterday, when I got the camera and stuff in, I sent you a picture. It looks like a Sasquatch is standing behind a tree, but he looks transparent. You can just barely see him, and it looks like there's four of them. Because remember, I sent you a picture and you circled a couple things and it looked like there's four Bigfoot. The one looked like he's closer to
oh
the
yeah,
house.
oh yeah. When I get back, it'll be late tomorrow evening before I get back home. I'll be leaving out early in the morning. I gotta leave here around 4 o'clock. Um, but I'll go through the pictures when I get back home, and I'll look at them and see uh, where when I find which you had photographed, then I'll text you. I'll get back in touch with you, and we'll put one up on the channel for them to look at because you get
Yeah, the one
some
that was
crazy
on
stuff
the
sometimes.
lookout. What you check out is the one that's blue. It looks like there's an alien face in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember a few weeks ago you had caught something that looked like an alien that was
Yeah,
down
it was down
by
the
the tree
hall.
line.
Yeah, it was real something white standing down there. It looked like an alien to me. It didn't look like a Bigfoot. I went down or went out and looked after looked on the camera or after looked on the picture and stuff. But after I had gotten that, my camera went haywire and wouldn't work, and my thing that goes in your phone to look at the pictures wouldn't
Yeah,
even play. It wouldn't do nothing. I had to get a new thing to stick in it so I could get
the
the
memory
pictures up.
card.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, not
wow.
the card. It was the thing you put the
The,
card
the
in.
card reader. Yeah, the card reader.
Yeah. The other one went
Wow.
out, so I get a new one, and it went out when I couldn't even get anything up on the phone at all. And I had all kind of pictures on there, and one didn't want to show up at all, and I know something was there because you could see it on the up at Walmart. I had them to look at them at Walmart, and you could see something standing there, but you couldn't tell exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They what she was. There's a lot of new people that are signing on now, and
Mm-hmm.
what you had started telling us was about. It sounded like you guys thought something was tearing your front porch off the house. Can you uh can you start from the beginning of when that sound started and explain to everyone what you heard, the experience that you guys actually witnessed while that was happening, so they get a better understanding of what you guys go through so often.
This is here way before Christmas time. I think it's around before Thanksgiving too. And it sounded like somebody was outside tearing the porch off the house. I didn't know what was happening out there, but it was an awful noise. It sounded like somebody tearing the porch off, hit the back wall back there real hard. My blocks is not completely pushed inside, but you can see where some is blocks is in and some is kind of like out, but you can't tell it inside. Only outside when you're looking outside, you can see some of the
Yeah,
blocks is not sitting
yeah.
right.
I, I seen the picture you had sent me about the blocks and what it is, you guys. She lives in a block house. It's not a wood house. It's the big cinder blocks. And something hit the back side of the house so hard that it's cracked the mortar and actually pushed the wall in. And the porch is on the opposite side of the house, isn't it?
Yeah, hit on the back side, but that was on the side where I was having the activity of where it hit the house before, and I take a bath, and then every time I take a bath, it threw a rock. It didn't matter what time, anywhere between 9 to if I'd wait until 11 or 12 and take a bath, hoping they wouldn't be out there. They'd still wait until they heard the water inside and throw a rock at the house.
Wow.
And
And
we
they're
had a
still
really
doing
good
that.
road the other night at the house, and I found it on the porch this time, on the side porch out here. And I went out and went out to go somewhere and asked my husband. I said, "You didn't accidentally get rocks on the porch last night when you brought the wood in?" He said, "No." And he said he swept the porch off after he brought the wood in. And it was a pretty good sized rock. I didn't hear it. I was asleep, and I haven't been sleeping because I've been laying there, listening and stuff at night while he was sleeping, and just can't sleep. I'll lay there sometimes all night and don't go to sleep till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's not that I'm waiting for them to do anything. I just can't rest.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable. Them things messing with your house, it'd be hard for anybody to sleep. Um, yeah, they had you had holes in the block too from rocks hitting them, like big divots, like chunks knocked out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
house is cracked on the driveway side now. There's another hole out there I noticed the other day where something had hit the side there. And I was going to tell you down the road. Remember, I sent you the one picture of down the road where it looked like somebody standing in the woods, and you
yeah,
said, and to me, it looks like maybe a hunter, but there's no leaves down there. Now, in the picture, it shows leaves, and there ain't no leaves on the picture because I looked when we went down the road. There ain't no leaves on the trees because it's winter time here. I mean, we haven't been having snow or anything, but it's just been really cold. we've had one snow this year, but we've not had any since that.
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't get snow down here very often, thank God. Well,
Mhm.
has the activity where it's at now is has it increased?
Yeah, it gets depends on how the big fellas are doing or the whole families are doing. We've had like all kind of noises outside. You'll go and want to look and half afraid to look out the window. Sometimes I'll turn the lights on because I don't want to get surprised and look out and there he's standing. I turn the lights
Yeah.
all on, and sometimes we get a lot of activity, and I'll turn all the lights on because one night we heard something. We didn't know what in the world was going on. We both sitting here watching a movie, and he said he's going to retire for the night, and I was told him I was going to just sit here and watch something else. And about the time he went to go in the other room to the bed, something hit the window. Well, there's a window here, but there's a board here where they took the window out. It used to be a big picture window here, beside of the or behind me here,
All right.
and something was knocking on the wood there one night. It was just
Wow.
going tap tap tap, and I heard noise out there. I've heard some growling, and I could hear. And I thought one night it was a mouse or something on the over here getting in the trash. Because I found a mouse in here, but hopefully I got rid of him. And I didn't know what in the world was going on over towards the door. And I got up and trying not to make any noise on the couch. When I got up and I went over and turned the lights on. Well, I turned this one on, and well, actually went on and turned that one on first because that's where the noise was. And I turned this one on and went to the back of the house and turned that light on, and the noise quit. And I left them on for a little bit. I'm left afraid in the wintertime to leave them on, the lights on too long, because the coldness will break the light bulbs.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. We don't get that kind of cold down here. Um,
Yeah.
well, are they coming up and messing with the doors
I
anymore?
haven't messed with well this on this side over here where this storm door is. The glass is all scratched up on the outside now on the one out there, and there was
Yeah.
fingerprints and stuff down across the window because I didn't know if you could see them or not. I took pictures of that and sent them to you. And I've washed the window off 3 or 4 times, and I've got to watch because during the summertime we smashing bugs and stuff on the window, and I would think it was outside here, it'd be inside. And I would
Oh
wash it
yeah.
off inside and outside to make sure what I was looking at. And I've heard the door kind of like pulled open one night, but it couldn't open it because it had a wired shut for the night.
Yeah.
And we got a latch on it now, so you can't open it unless you tear it off.
Oh wow. They had Ian Taylor. I'll put it up where you can see it. As asking a question about the activity you're having, and he says, "Why do you suppose this activity is happening? Do you have any idea why you're having the activity?"
No, because we're usually keep everything close to the house or woods cleaned up and stuff like that. We don't put anything down below the trees. If we do, we know it because we get a lot of rock sodas. If we put anything below the tree line into the woods, I mean
Oh
the
yeah.
woods is behind us here, but we got it cleaned out where all the trees is in behind the house and up on the catty corner of the side of the house, but we don't have it where it's blocked in or where they can't see. I mean they can see up here wherever they're standing. I've
Oh
even
yeah.
had a rock throw from 30 foot down over the hill, up clear up the house and hit the house because we had somebody was here one day and I was like, how far down is the property over the hill? I said, how far down would that be from there up to hit my house? And I even like took pictures and showed you, we took pictures of where the
Yeah.
rocks was coming from and then from the house and to the house. And they said it was about 30 foot.
Oh wow. Yeah. If you guys didn't know, Sally's house, they were throwing rocks at the house, and it was literally knocking divots in the concrete bricks. They got it looks like where if somebody were to shoot it with a gun, except it doesn't have the little imprint of the bullet, but it's just big chunks of concrete knocked out where it's being hit by rocks, by large rocks. And
Yeah, we
I
got
don't.
two out here. from a long time ago where somebody had, I guess, mistaken a bullet hit off of the tree or something and hit up there. But that's only two, and you could tell on in it that if it, if, between it, if it's a bullet hole or a rock hole because of the way that it is.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah. I know the
but
the
the rocket was up here on the sidewalk. I mean, on the uh, porch here the other night, the little porch here by me.
yeah.
He had to been in the driveway to throw it because that was a piece of shale, and it was a pretty big piece of shale. And the other rocks are like old. I don't know what kind of rock you call them, but they're like real brown. They're kind of like a tannish looking. Look like slate. And I see them up here. We've first moved here, we raked clear around the house and cleaned all the property off and put the woods back down in the woods. And there was one night there was like this piece of stuff. I guess it was like a piece of cement, but it had rock and stuff in it. I threw it
Yeah.
down in the woods, and the next day it was up the house. So I heard it hit the house because you could hear it sound like a piece of slate or something. So the next morning, I had went out and looked around because I heard it hit. And I'm like, I wonder where he hit that at. So I took it and threw it back down there. And the next day, it was right back up there. So I picked it up
Wow.
and I hollered down there and I said, now you leave this rock down there and quit hitting my house, would you please? We don't do nothing to you. So I didn't hear nothing now for like 3 or 4 days. That was after we moved here. And they kind of like left us alone for a while. And I said, we're not hunting you. We're not bothering the deer. We're not doing anything. And we've only got one deer here since we've been here because we're afraid to get anything because a lot of the deer have been sick. So
Oh
we
yeah.
don't. If somebody gives us deer meat, we're half afraid to even eat it. We tell them no, we don't want it because of them being a lot of them being sick and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's understandable. And yeah.
And we've had bear and stuff here this summer that they end up shooting at a 500-pound bear and another one. He looked like he was maybe only maybe 150 pounds, and they all had manes and looked like they was all losing their hair. And they carried the one of them carried our trash off, and we had another bear. We don't know if the one was a squatch or if it was a bear or what it was, but we had a 55-gallon trash bag that he didn't take the can, but he took the bag out and he carried it off. We never did find that bag. We looked all. I'm afraid to go too far in the woods because I don't know what's something after me because we got
Oh yeah.
coyotes and stuff around here now, and I haven't seen nothing, and we got bobcats here. Because I've
Oh
got
wow.
one bobcat on the camera, or I think I sent that to you, and
Yeah. I've seen the one last year you had sent me.
yeah, and
Yeah. They had. Did Can you read the screen? What Deborah put on there? If not, I'll read it to you. She says, "Sally, have you tried talking to them and asking them to stop?"
yeah, I've went out there. I haven't talked to them lately. They brought since they brought the family up here. I kind of like been staying away because I don't want them or staying in with it being cold and everything because it's been really really cold. I don't like to go outside because
Yeah.
it bothers me. And
Oh yeah.
I told
That's
my husband the
understandable.
other day. I said, if they don't behave themselves, I'm going to have to say something to them again. Because I told them here back in the summertime, I said, you guys behave yourself. We're not hunting you. We're not bothering you. We're being good to you. We're keeping stuff out of the woods. And I said, I know you guys can understand me because I don't put food out here for them, but I put food out for the deer. And I've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
cameras out there, and I've looked and I can tell when the deer gets it. But the one night when over on this side of the house, something had gotten the stuff I put out there, like nut mix and stuff we got from the pantry. I didn't taste good, so I stick it out there for them. And whatever was out there ate the stuff and never showed up on the camera. You could see the stuff being ate on the camera, and nothing's standing there. But you could see the stuff coming up
Wow.
missing. And I couldn't tell. I mean, this camera doesn't do video, but you could see in the
Yeah.
pictures if something was standing there eating, because you could see the squirrel. I got a squirrel that stays around the house, and there's a black cat that comes around fuzzy when I have no idea
Oh yeah.
who it belongs to, because we don't have animals. You can't go nowhere for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, we do have animals. We have a lot. Loretta, she just asked, where do you live? Which state? And that's West Virginia, isn't it?
Yeah, I live in West Virginia.
Yeah. She's. Sally lives in the mountains, if you guys didn't know. I know a lot of you are familiar. Y'all heard the last time we had her on, y'all were here. And for you guys that don't know who she is, we have a lot of new people here tonight. Um, and she's had encounters her entire life. She's always had something going on, some type of experience with them. And she does not go and look for them. They end up showing up wherever she's at. And one of the fascinating ones that she had shared with us, they were out, cleaning their yard. Her and her husband, they keep the yard really clean. If a stick falls in the yard, they get it picked up and moved out. Well, they had some hay up under it was under the porch, wasn't it?
That was
The
when we lived at the in another state before we moved where we're at now. And
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, there was hay under the porch there, and something had drug it up underneath of the house, which I didn't hear anything in the night. And I went out there. We got rid of the cats and the dogs because we weren't going to planning on being home and taking care of a bunch of cats because they kept being feral cats and all kind of neighbor cats, and we got rid of them and dogs and stuff. So we decided, well, we'll put the hay out there over the hill there, out where the goat barn used to be. They used to have goats
yeah,
and stuff, and before the barn down, and because it was getting snake infested, and we was trying to clean the property off, and we cleaned out there. And I told him, I said, this would probably be a good place to put the hay, wouldn't it? And he said, yes. We cleaned that out, one bunch of it out, and it had started to get cold and was wanting to snow, and I was trying to get everything out there before it snowed, and went back out the next day, and the hay it had been somebody with arms to hold the hay in their hands and took it over top of the fence because it was over top the fence, scattered clear across the road, down over top the other fence, and they had to been at least 9 or 10 foot tall to step over that fence because the fence was like 4 or 5 or 6 foot. I'm not sure. I forget what he said. I think it's 4 foot tall fence, and
yeah,
they had to be about 9 or 10 foot tall to step over that fence and didn't
yeah.
even
That's
bother the
what.
fence at all when they stepped over it.
Yeah, Frank had told me that they had. It looked as though whatever took the hay, literally just walked right over a 4 foot fence, and you could see the
Yeah,
little pieces of hay stretched out all the way across the other property.
yeah, took
And
it down
that's
and walked across the creek, and he didn't even. He must have had to be at least 10 foot tall because the creek is probably about what is it, 4 or 5 foot long or wide, and I don't think he stepped in the creek. He had to. He just probably stepped one end of the creek to the other side of it, and then went over the hill there. We found out that there's actually a cave over there. He said he'd been over there hunting one time and seen a
oh
cave,
wow,
and but we went back out the next day after we took all that one bunch out and seen that. And so we thought, well, we'll bring the rest of it over and put it over. So the next day we went back out, and every bit of it was going. It looked like somebody, like we never even stuck it down there. Is how it looked. I mean, every bit of it, it looked like they picked the ground clean. There wasn't one stick of stuff in the road where they drug it across the road.
wow, wow. And that's one of them. The what you was explaining to us last time about down at the creek behind your house, you had a figure was down squatted by the water. Uh, would you mind sharing that with us again?
That was when I was working for my neighbor up above me there. I was coming down from his place there one evening. It was starting to get dark, and Frank had already come to the house before I did, bringing stuff down because we cleaned it out. He had left the neighbor had left out for the winter. So he's up here trying to get his place shut down, and he done took a bunch of stuff down. So I come down to bring stuff down. I come down and brought one load down, come back down. I went back up to get some more stuff. I come back down, took it here, and went back up and got, I think, 2 or 3 other things, and I didn't have much in my hands, and I kept hearing the water. Every time you stood on his porch, you could hear something in the water all the time, and you look, you wouldn't see nothing because the squatches blend in with the woods. And so
Yeah,
that evening, I thought, well, I'm going to look and see what's down there. I thought, well, maybe it's a deer. And when I looked over the hill there, something was down there. It was brown. It was down on all fours. And it had scraggly. brown brown hair, and he had a little black in him. I got to thinking about how he looked, and I kind of like, okay, I'm getting out of here. I didn't want to tangle with whatever down here. I didn't know what it was at the time, but he started to stand up and he walked off. I stood there and looked at me for a minute, and he didn't growl or anything, just looked at me and walked up. And I come around the house and stood there in my neighbor's house. They ain't there now more. The house that burnt down here a while back, but I come around there and stood. And I'm like, well, he can come around here and get me. And he's standing here, and I come on the house and told
Oh
him.
yeah.
And he went back over, and by the time we went over and looked, it had left. It had went up in
Wow.
the woods, and he had an encounter recently about I think it's right before about 2 or 3 weeks before it snowed here around Christmas, and he seen a squatch
Yeah.
walk down through the woods over here, and
Wow.
it
Right
was
by your
black. It
house.
was probably about 9 or 10 foot tall, and it walked down. He just barely could see it. He could just see the figure walking down through the woods.
Wow. That's scary, and that's right by your house, right?
Yes, but well, it wasn't right beside the house. That one was. He was like up above where we seen, where I was over at the neighbors, above the neighbors there. But he come county corner
Yeah.
down, and he probably thought, well, maybe it's somebody hunting. I said, that ain't nobody hunting. I didn't get to see him myself. He come in and kind of looked at me funny. I said, what's wrong? He said, I seen a squatch come down through there. He thought maybe it was just somebody in something black walked down through there. And I'm like, well, the Hank will glide down there because he talked about them gliding down through the woods. I said, nobody, a squatch will glide through the woods, but yeah, a human being ain't go down through there
No.
like that. Because I
No.
about fall
Not
down
at all.
walking up through there. I walked through the woods door before and I almost fell down. Because
Oh yeah.
the woods here is like comes down like this in patterns. You can walk up here, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it'll drop here and it'll drop here because it goes down here, and the water drains off of here all the time. See, the creek is more up here on his side, but my creek below my house is down below here. But his is up a
Oh
little bit higher, closer to his house.
wow. Wow. That's crazy to think you got something 9 or 10 feet tall near you. It's frightening. It's really really frightening. One of
I
the
think
things.
there's four of them. I think it's a family of four because of in the trees where you circled. It looks like there's two in the tree, and then two on and one on and two on the ground. Because
Yeah.
we looked at it again after you circled it for me. I didn't see the
Yeah.
one up in this one tree there, but and then he had went down after you had circled it, and we took the picture out there and looked to see where we could see everything, and it looked like the one tree had been ripped out of the ground and laid up, not upside down, but on the side. And he
Yeah.
went down and looked at it, and it looks weird laying down there. I mean, when you're looking up above, it looks like roots are sticking up, and you move down, it looks like somebody cut the tree off.
Oh
It looks
wow.
like somebody cut it off, and there's not been nobody around here to cut anything off.
Wow. Does it look like a saw or somebody beat it with a like a machete?
Don't look like somebody took something and just beat it off, beat the tree off of the roots.
Oh, just literally tore the roots off of it.
Yeah. And then
Oh
we've been
wow.
seeing, I know a lot of our woods here is falling down on its own, but we've been hearing a friend of ours had come down here about a month or so ago before Christmas. I think it was in November, right before Thanksgiving, or no, it was before Christmas. He come down and he's sitting out here sleeping in the car. He won't sleep in the house because we don't have a bed in here. We only have one bedroom, and he won't sleep on the couch. He likes sleeping in his car because
Oh yeah.
he's Indian. He thinks he's got to sleep outside. I mean, he does have an apartment where he lives at, but he was sleeping in the car out there, and something struck his car. And I said, well, we left the door unlocked in case he needed to come in, and something struck the car. And he said he heard the was sound down the woods, knocked stuff was falling down. And he said all of a sudden his car started to shaking.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we got a different vehicle. Now our truck had broke down, and we got a different vehicle. And if anything or anybody pulls up on the handle on it or touches the vehicle, the alarm will go off on this vehicle.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they won't set it off in the middle of the night. Um, the Terry asked Sally, "Do you have cameras around your property?" And that's what I was gonna ask you. I know you had the game camera, but did you ever put up any more cameras?
No, I still got the one. I've been putting it on the front porch one place for about a week, and then I'll put it in
Yeah.
another place for a week. I've been putting it around different places. I'll take it away from one place for a while, and then then I'll take it away from that place and put it somewhere else for a little while. Kind of like put it around to make it, mix up whatever's out there up to not
Oh yeah.
let us think that there's nothing out there. And we didn't have it out there for probably about well, actually it wouldn't work there for a couple of weeks or so, and I had to get that other thing so I could see the pictures on it, and it wouldn't even take pictures. And I changed the batteries in 3 or 4 times, and it would not work at all. It wouldn't take any pictures or nothing. And I left it in
Wow.
here, and I got some different kind of batteries. Upgraded the battery storage or storage on it, and
Yeah.
right now I haven't had too much problem with it, and I've been getting pictures off of it.
Oh well, good. Well, maybe you got it fixed because you have got a lot of fascinating pictures. Brother John says, "Have they ever threatened you, the big
No,
fellas?"
no, they've never threatened us or anything. I mean, I haven't really seen them for them to do anything where they just bang on the house, and they've hit the house a couple of times and throw rocks most of the time.
Yeah. If you'll tomorrow, whenever you get a little bit of free time, the pictures that you had sent me before. My phone died recently, and I lost all that stuff again. Uh,
Hmm.
and I got a new phone. But if you'll send me the picture of the block where the rocks hit it and knocked the
Yeah,
holes in your wall, I'll um
yeah.
I'll post it on I'll post it on the channel so these guys can go and look at it and see what we're talking about. How the rocks were thrown at her house with so much force that they literally knocked a chunk out of the block. And there's several spots on that wall where these chunks, these divots, are knocked out.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
put some of that your insulation in some of it because they were so thick. It was had a big hole in it. The hole was almost in the house because of the way they hit it.
oh yeah,
And this
it went
one
all the way
knocked
through.
the house. I mean, the house is set down in the ground. Has a cement floor in here, and it's all cement block. There ain't no paneling or nothing in the house here, or
Yeah,
anything on the walls. We took it out because it got wet in here when after we moved here. Everything was leaking. The ceiling was leaking, and I had to tear everything out because it's getting moldy and stuff like that. We had to do a
now
lot of stuff. We had to put a different roof on. I've never seen any rocks on the roof, but I've gotten them, around the house and up on the one side, on this side of the
yeah,
house over here. They've hit the house up on the top. 'Cause I sent you that one where they hit that up there.
yeah. Were
Didn't
they
know if they was trying to tear the house down or the roof off or what they was doing.
yeah, absolutely. And there's no telling. We have rocks in our roof where I had rocks thrown at me a while back, and I was actually on a show with Carrie on Bigfoot Odyssey, and he invited us on, Jeff and I, and while I was on the live show, rocks started hitting the roof around me, and it's
Mhm.
I don't like it. It scares me. But
Well, one night I
Daniel had
remember
just. I'm sorry.
the one night, remember, we and you was talking on the phone, and you had the camera on, and you was sitting up there, and I could see you could see me, and then we was talking on the phone, and you just sitting there talking, and you was getting rocks thrown at you when he's on the roof there when we was talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that one. And what it is, what they're throwing is pieces of concrete, little chunks of concrete. I have no idea where they're getting it at, but that's what's
Hmm.
hitting the house. And we don't have anything concrete except for the driveway, and the house itself is brick. Um, but here's
Hmm.
I'm going to post this question on here because this is something I've thought about before also. And Daniel is sort of asking it. I believe he's asking it for anyone. I think, but he says if Bigfoot witnesses a hunter process a deer, would it use a knife if they found one? You know, I would think that they would, but I don't know. My opinion. What do
Most
you
of the
think?
time, what I've seen out of what the documents and stuff I've seen and stuff with them, they don't
Yeah,
have to use a knife or nothing for to do a deer break its legs and twist it, because I've seen documents where they found twisted deer bones and stuff in the woods.
Oh
And
yeah.
we don't keep any. If we get a deer or anything, we take it clear away from the house, and the hide and the bones and stuff. We don't. We always take everything off the bones and take everything, and we don't actually put any of our food outside like that. We always put it in the trash. And
Yeah.
like when, and I found out with the we call it the game warden here, whenever the deer or the bear are active is in between June, I think it's April, or no, it's May and June, maybe April, May and June, or into
Yeah.
July, the bear is active. They go in 3 and 4 stages. So they got a mountain back here, and then they come down to the second level, and then the third level. I think we're in the third or fourth level down from the mountain. And they say the squat. I was talking to another guy. I don't know, he was game warden or what he was, but he said that they hadn't had any squatch, activity where he's at. But
Yeah.
he said he don't like to comment on stuff like that because they don't like him talking about stuff like that. But he said he's never seen anything. But he said if he does see anything, they'll report it to the authorities and stuff themselves. But he said they
Oh
go
yeah.
in different patterns. I've noticed this one around here. Didn't hear anything. We had a fire here back in 2017. The neighbor kids had set the house on fire and burned it out. There was no activity around here for probably, what, 2 years? Almost 2 years. 2 years we didn't have no activity because our yard had been, or our back of our yard, they set our yard on fire too. Whenever they set the neighbor's house on fire, they got mad at us because I turned them in for breaking in the houses. And
Wow.
they set our yard on fire. If I wouldn't have got up or heard the explosion of the house next door exploding, we wouldn't even know the house would have. Well, if it being brick, it would probably have burnt the porches off and the roof off of the house. But we didn't see
Yeah.
hear any activity at that time. We've been in
Yeah. They
here
had.
at this place about 8 or 7 years this year. Be 8 in September. We've been here, and we've only
Oh
had
wow.
active. We didn't have activity right away when we first moved here.
Yeah. There's something I wanted to ask you before, and I've never asked you
I
that, and
can't
I
hear you,
just
Donnie.
seen.
I lost your voice.
Yeah, I think it's on your end. Um, can you guys hear us in the comments? Let me put John's question up there so I can check the comments right quick. Let's see. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me? You hear
No,
us both.
people lived
Uh,
here before me. They never fed them or anything. They didn't know nothing about
okay.
them. We just the only ones that found out they were here.
Wow. Are you able to hear me now?
I can't hear you,
Okay.
Donnie. I don't have any voice from you at all.
Okay. Um, let me see if I'm looking for questions for. We had the same problem.
Trying to bother my phone. It's on his side.
Well, yeah, I think it's your mic. Let me see if I can pull hers up. See what she's doing
Let
here.
me sign off and I'll sign back on and see how it does.
Okay. Let's see. We'll get her off and let her come right back on. Sorry about that, guys. We had um, her internet isn't really good. It's the way mine was before we finally got home internet, and so she's using her phone. And we had the same problem the last couple times that she came on, and I apologize about that. Oh, there's Stephanie and Mark, Livewire, and Loretta, Joan. It's good to see all you guys. I apologize for not mentioning y'all earlier. I had a very late start. I got home extremely late and almost didn't make it. Okay, let's see if
Okay,
she's.
I can hear you now. I shut it off for a few
Okay.
minutes and then turn it back on.
Okay. Good deal. We got you. Um, but yeah, that was something that I wanted to ask you before, and I just kept forgetting about it. About if these things followed you, or if you think that the previous owner.
No,
I'm
they
sorry.
didn't say anything. It was older people that lived here, and they had a bar here in the house, and this was that guy's oh, this was his doghouse. He get drove with his wife. He come here. It was called Mel's Doghouse when we first moved here. But
Okay.
but he died, and she sold it. She said she didn't have a sweetheart no more, so she sold the place to us. And they've never had it. I mean, I've talked to neighbors and stuff and asked them if they've ever had anything, and they said they've had more bear. As far as they know, it was bear activity, nothing else, or somebody doing something. At
Yeah.
least they thought it was somebody. Um, they've had trees taken out, but come to find out it was somebody instead of something. And but we've had activity. We never had any trees knocked down in the yard or not. No, we've got some that's falling down on their own, and they've kind of like crisscrossed. Because I watched the one fall one day, and they went crisscrossed on their own, and then just fell completely down, rolled down the hill.
Oh wow. And that was right behind your house.
Yeah, it was down behind the house. I've noticed when I went down today to go down to get the mail and stuff that some of the trees in my neighbor's yard is laying down. But down in his place there, when you're going down the road, noticed some of the tops of the trees has been taken off. Probably about what do you say, about 2 foot or anywhere between 8 and 10 feet. The tops of the trees has been taken off. That's too tall. That's taller than what we are, and that's
Oh
too
yeah,
tall for a
yeah,
person.
absolutely. Yes, yep, absolutely. Oh, Johnny on the spot's made it. And Joan, we got a few other people hopped in. I didn't even see Seven Pearls early. I'm sorry, brother Mike Williams. So good to see everybody here in the chat. If you guys are coming in late, um, Sally is just giving us an update on the recent Bigfoot activity at her home, and then refreshing us on some of the older stuff that has happened. She's had a life filled with the Bigfoot activity, and I don't think many of you have called her first show. Um, well, I'll let her explain it. Would you mind explaining about when you were with your family and y'all were picking the fruit at the?
Down at the farm.
Yeah,
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 that really sticks out to me more than anything. That still bothers me. I mean, not as much as it did since I've talked about it, but I think I was like maybe 8 or 9, somewhere around in there, 7 or 8,
yeah.
9, somewhere in there. And we went down to farm. We always went down every year to get apples and peaches, pears, go down for a picnic, get fresh spring water, bring it back. And they liked it for their coffee and tea and things like that. And
Oh, yeah,
we had to watch out for snakes and stuff because we had snakes down there. And we'd come in, and always every time we come in, we'd always stop at the grapevines that are on the hill, and we go up through there, and we stopped at this one all the time and get grapes. And we went down with the hill. It's not like a great big hill. It's just like where you step over onto the or into the woods, down off of it a little.
like an
You step down a
embankment.
little into the woods, and it's getting grapes and stuff down there, and they's looking all around, getting grapes off the other grapevines. I think there was 4 or 5 grapevines in behind where the great big one was. There's a great big one down there. And I was reaching through getting grapes and stuff, and it looked like there was 4 tall stumps standing there. I mean, me and being a little kid, the 2 smaller ones looked, you know, taller than me, and
Yeah.
but they must have been like a kid size or something like that. And it was rounded off on the top like a domed head looking, and some of them looked flat. It's just the way they looked. But the grapevines went in behind them, come around the front, and it could have been a squatch standing there with her arms straight down, with her eyes closed. You wouldn't even know it. It was kind of a brownish, like blackish looking. And the woods there always had a smell of the moss and of the woods and of
Yeah.
water. And you know how wood will smell with the leaves and everything laying there for years, the rotten smell. and
Yeah.
I was reaching through there getting grapes, and I could have been reaching through their arms or anything, getting stuff and not even know it. And we thought, well, we'll go up around and behind, get the rest of the grapes over there, and they was pretty big. Some of them grapes were on there about probably about that big, and some of them was
Wow.
bigger, and they wasn't the smaller grapes. They was some of them was for like can or like making wine out of, and the ones that we was getting was ones you could eat. And
Yeah.
I kept looking around, and I kept looking around, and I was kind of felt afraid of off and on, but wasn't sure why I was going afraid because I didn't see no bobcats, I didn't see no panthers, I didn't see any bear, anything around there. And my uncle said, "Well, we got enough. We filled our buckets full." And he said, "Well, let's go up and see if we can find something up on the hill." So we went up back up to get in the vehicle to go up on the hill, and my uncle had turned around. Well, I turned around and looked, and I said, "Look at down here in the woods." I said, "That don't look right now." And they said, looked at me and kind of looked back down there, and they said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Well, look, I said, the stumps is going." And there's four stumps. There was two or four different sizes. And my uncle said, "Well," he said, "Well, how's the stumps going to take off?" And they got to looking. I told him I wish we'd brought the camera with us. And I mean, all four stumps was going. I mean, it was just they were there when we was there, and like they're standing straight as a board. And then when we went
Yeah.
up on the hill there and turned our backs, they just took off. We didn't hear a sound, didn't smell anything, and I kind of got a weird feeling after we up on the hill there, and I turned around. And I'm like, I wonder if it should turn around or not. And I went up there, and my uncle kind of like looked, and my other uncle was deaf. He said that there was, he pointed at me and told me there was, they was in because he was deaf. He'd go like this. He'd like tall one and two small ones and up higher, and like mommy and the two babies and the daddy. And
Oh yeah. Yeah. And what she it had explained that to me last year, and we kind of went into depth about her experience and what it was. Those there was like a wall of grapes, and there was a in the center. It looked like four large stumps were stacked in this wall of grapes. And whenever they got up to the top of the hill and they were about to leave, she looked back down there, and them four big stumps that were in the grapes were gone, and it was kind of a cleared area now. And
yeah, it's still there too. My uncle
yeah,
was kind of surprised.
yeah, and y'all, nobody ever heard anything. Huh.
We didn't hear nothing. See, we wasn't taught back in the 60s and 70s about Bigfoots or Sasquatches or anything. You never heard nothing like that. I mean, most of the time they tease me about boogeymans or the bear's going to get your cat or snake or spider or something like
Yeah,
that just to get me to stay close to them. And we never thought anything of it. I mean, they thought it was weird that all of a sudden the grapevines was open and you could see clear through them, and they're like, "Well, there's more grapes on there." And I told them, "Maybe we'll get them next time. We'll just leave them there, let them grow." And when we did come back later on, the stumps was going, but the grapes was going too. There wasn't nothing there the next time we come in, because we come down about every weekend. Sometimes it would be in the summertime. About every weekend we go down and get more pears, grapes, and apples and
yeah,
stuff, trying to clean the farm off. They'd take you all. It was in August whenever we was down in there, because that's when the apples are ready to pick,
yeah.
and the pears and stuff is ready to pick in August and stuff, and you have to have them all picked before the end of August. If you wait until September and pick them, everything's no good.
All
Whatever
right.
else was, we left there, we just let it for the animals.
Yeah, yeah. But when y'all came back and the grapes were gone, how much was on the vine before y'all left? Was it a full vine still?
When we first picked them, I mean, they were just loaded with grapes. I mean, they was loaded from the ground to the top of the vine, and I forget how tall my uncle said the vine was. And we took them all off of there. And once we took a bunch of them off, well, there's four of us, and we had 4 buckets, and I couldn't hardly carry mine, so they carried mine one time I got done, but I wasn't eating. I would like
Oh
eating them,
yeah.
and I had to spit the seeds out, and when we was back down in there, the grapes, there was still, well, once we looked back, there was still a good bit of grapes on the, especially the backside where I didn't get. I didn't go in the behind. I just did I did in the front side where I could see, and they went down
Oh
in
yeah.
behind, but they didn't get where I was standing at. They went down and got them from the backside of them down next to the other part of the woods, but they didn't stay. There was one with me, and then we always stick together in case there's a snake or something, and we always carried a hoe with us in case we saw a snake or a shovel or something, in case they wanted to dig mushrooms up or, dig up sassafras or whatever they was going to get out of the woods. And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so we, yeah, I looked back and there was still a good bit of grapes on it. When he said, well, we'll get them the next time. So next time I think it's the next weekend or the weekend after, we come down to finish getting, because everything will get rotten. And we always took the pears home and wrapped them in newspaper and put them in the basement in the bins and stuff. They had wooden bins down there, and we put them in the winter. And then around Christmas time, it was so nice to go down and get some pears. I was afraid of the basement. My mom would go down with me. We'd get pears and apples
Yeah.
and stuff in paper, bring them up and unwrap them, but they keep the paper. And we don't have apples and pears and things for Christmas. And that felt really nice to be able to do that.
Oh yeah. Yep. And Coin Digger had posted something. I seen it in the chat, and I wanted to put it up here. He says he watched a video that Bigfoot will only eat grapes at a certain time, and the thought behind it was because of the fermenting of the grapes will ferment, and it gets them tipsy. And
Yeah.
I haven't heard that before, but it makes a lot of sense.
If you don't pick them in April, I mean, pick them in August, they won't be any good in September. They'll be fermented by then. My mom would take and sneak a lot of them. I didn't know she was doing it. She'd take that and she'd smash the grapes up and put yeast in it, and she'd make her some wine. One day I thought, well,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to see what's so exciting in this bottle or jar she had. And she goes, what's the matter with you? I said, well, I tasted some of your stuff, Don. He had a little taste, just a wee little taste. I told her she would take
Yeah,
them to do that.
Franklin.
Grape juice from the store they got one time with it.
Oh yeah. Franklin says, Sally, do you have lots of venomous snakes near your place?
We don't have a lot of venomous snakes here. I don't hardly. We have mostly our black snakes, and what are they?
Kind of like a grass snake.
We have grass snakes and a garden snake. We have that one that's yellow and black. I've only seen the yellow and black one here, and then down the road, I've never seen the one in my yard, but it was a gray and white down the road. But I've never seen one of them in our yard. But we had a lot of black snakes here. And when we first moved here, there was a snake coming in the yard, and I wasn't sure it was a corn snake. John thought it was. I mean, not John, but Frank thought it was. What did you say it was? You think it was a copperhead?
No, the eyes is wrong. On a poisonous snake, the eyes look like a diamond shape. This one had round eyes.
It had round eyes. I think it was a corn snake,
Oh.
but he killed it anyway because we wasn't trusting it because we had
It was
never.
all different colors, pretty snake.
It was a pretty snake. He's all different colors, but he looked like a corn snake to me. He was kind of orange. He looked like a corn snake though. I got a snake book so I can look up stuff. I don't have all the snakes on. I got a lot of snakes in there from other countries that we don't have here.
Yeah, I think that's the way Florida is. We got too much of everything bad and not enough of the good. And I wanted to put this up. It was funny. I seen it in the chat. Joan had put on there, says, Lord, can you imagine a drunk or tipsy Bigfoot? Talk about shenanigans. I had to throw that in there.
He'd probably be wrecking the woods. I wouldn't want to be in front of him.
It wouldn't do no good to call the authority on them, that's for sure. I had to put that up. I thought it was funny, and
That's cute. That'd be something.
yeah, yes, indeed.
Heck, if he'd be drunk, maybe you could get along with him good.
Yeah, it may smooth out some of them's uh, issues. I don't know what you would call it. They're a bit temperamental. Down here they are. They're we get I talk to a lot of people that the Bigfoots that they deal with are pretty aggressive down here for the most part. There are some that are peaceful encounters or experiences, or when they just bump into them somewhere, but the majority of them are pretty rough. Um,
The one that's here is not really too aggressive, as long as we don't have anything below the trees, because he went and left a bunch of wood one night out there behind the porch where we was working on the porch,
yeah,
and I that was the one night he's really throwing rocks like crazy up there, and we just cleaned the yard out, and he's like, "I'm gonna show you guys. You clean the yard out, I'm gonna mess it up for you because you messed my woods up." And we had to move the woods. I told him the next morning. I said, "We're got to move that wood and stuff out behind there." As soon as we moved it, we didn't have any more activity. I threw the rocks down, and just for fun, the first time I ever said anything, I said, "Leave the rocks down there. Quit throwing them up here. I'm tired of cleaning up after you."
yeah, that's right. Uh,
If they're gonna listen
Dean,
or not.
oh yeah, the Dean says he believes these beings are 110% on point with their intuition, as I have heard many stories that would suggest this is true. And also, do you believe they bury their dead family members?
Never find no
Do you-
remains.
Yeah, you can't find the remains. They buried some guy had a story on there on I forget where it was, what his channel was, but he seen a Bigfoot burying their dead, and they've even had found
Wow.
human people in the woods dead, and had brought them and laid them in the graveyard, and they had found them. He said he was looking for his brother one time and found him, seen that he had gotten shot down in the woods or something, and he went to get help to get him up out of there. And he said he come back, and here he was laying in the graveyard, and he was dead. There's no way he could have got crawled up there and got in the graveyard, and he just got a glimpse
Wow.
of it, putting him down in the graveyard and walking off.
Oh
And he
yeah,
said it was
yeah.
all black when it was black and had a brown. Um, it had brown on the part of its arm, but he said it was mostly black with a little bit of brown on its arm, and it had like a little white in on its head or something, a little bit of white fur on its head.
Oh wow. Yeah,
He
they
said
had
it wasn't
Riker had kind of an extension to what Dean had said here.
Mhm.
Is do you believe? Let's see, it's dragon. Let me get it to pop up. There it goes. Oh, that's me. What in the world is going on? I'm waiting for it to. This thing's running so slow. All right. Let me get back up here and. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with it. Oh, there's Patrick and Arden. Yeah, it's something. I think the internet is starting to goof up. Oh, there it goes. It's finally going away now. Doggone it. I don't know what's happening. Oh,
It's okay on my side. So far.
let me check. Yeah, that'd be all right. I'm on battery. It'll work. It'll work okay. Um, but yeah, what Dina said is, do you think that they bury their dead? And then Riker came back behind him with this response, and I've never thought about it, but it's a possibility. Riker says, or eat them. You
Well,
know,
they
and
could.
if they ate their dead, there wouldn't be no remains of them. And
No.
I've never thought about that. But on a serious note, I believe that's a possibility.
Mm.
Wow.
I'm looking at a document here, about a year or so ago, that this woman had wrote a book on the Bigfoot, and she
Yeah.
said that she had seen them in the woods crying over the dead, and she said they've had a woman, and they, having their way with her, and I don't know where they got her at. But they got some hold of some woman, and she wrote a book on it. I forget what the woman's name was. She said you can get the book on Amazon, and but I forget what the document or who the woman was. But I remember talking about the book and stuff, and about the Bigfoot having people in the woods, and uh,
Yeah.
I think the one Bigfoot family had stole a bunch of people, and she said they brought them over there, and the one Bigfoot wanted the lady Bigfoot wanted to come to her house. She'd have stuff out on the line, like ladies' garments and stuff out drying outside, and he'd come up
Yeah.
there and steal her garments and stuff, and she was half afraid it was going to steal her stuff, so she started keeping it inside and drying her clothes.
Wow.
She said I
That's
could
strange.
she could set apples and stuff out on the porch, and she'd come up there while she was sitting there and get the apples and look at her and kind of pet her, and then take the apples like thank you or something, and walk off. And she had a little baby with her, and I forget, I'd like to have the book, but I can't remember what the woman's name was. I'd have to look things up again about it.
Yeah, I know Janice Carter, and there's a book on her and her sister, um,
Mm-hmm.
50 Years with Sasquatch or something like that. I don't remember
Yeah,
the name of it.
that,
Uh,
there's who it is. That there's who it is, Janet. I couldn't remember her name.
yeah, yeah. Well, Daniel put on here, we need to get a logger to interview. I believe they bury their dead under big redwoods or pine trees. And
It's
that's
probably
possible.
pine. They like the pine trees up a well. I seen a document one night. Well, actually, this guy got a Bigfoot on camera where it had roots underneath of a pine tree, and gotten a baby deer out, and it was peeling the deer off, the deer's hide off. He killed the deer, or the baby deer, it strangled its neck, and he pulled the hide off, and was carrying the deer down over the hill, and you could see it what was doing. He had hid under one pine tree, hoping it wouldn't get him, and right beside of where he was sitting at, it grabbed the fawn. He didn't even see the fawn there when he's under the tree, and he got it on
Wow.
camera. He had peeled that little fawn's hide off of it and was eating the deer. They
Gee whiz.
probably, the deer would, because they like pines. I don't like the pines close to the house. We don't have anything close to the house. We have ours is up above in our other part of our property, up above the house
Oh
here.
yeah.
I don't like pines close to the house because of them being around. Because they can sneak up and be standing there. You wouldn't even see them.
Yeah, that's where the activity that I've experienced has the majority of it's been in the pine trees or in the swamp, where the swamp meets the pines. And I never even thought about that. I never linked it with the pine trees, but it's possible. Anything's possible with them.
Yeah, they like the pine cones. There's something in the pine cones they eat, because we had thrown a bunch of pine cones down over the hill there. It was up there when we cleaned out, and all that brush that was up above our house here
Yeah,
last year. We didn't do nothing this year because of the pandemic, and we just didn't have the energy and didn't feel like doing anything, because they tell you to stay in the house, and you're like, what's pretty outside, and you're like, got the virus and can't go out in your yard. And when we thought,
yeah,
well, we're going to go outside, they like it or not, we're in the woods. But I went to happen to go up here and look. I told him, I said, I'm going to go up here and look and see um, about the brush and stuff, and see how much is up there. I said, well, maybe since it's rotten, maybe I can drag it over the hill and throw it down the hill. It won't be so heavy now. And I went up there to look, and all that brush, pine trees. We had great big pine trees. Some of them was probably about what? Um,
Big around like this.
we had some that's great big. We can't use them in the stove because it set our house on fire, because we have a wood
oh yeah,
burner. And some of them's great big round trees, and we put them down there over top of the other trees. I thin the trees out because I was trying to grow some of the pine trees to give to the Boy Scouts for Christmas trees, because they farm place that they was getting trees and stuff for Christmas. They
yeah,
had quit selling or quit letting the boys have them. But I seen the boys got some this year. I said maybe next year they'll be ready and I can cut them down, or they can cut them down, come up and cut them down and take them for Christmas trees next year. Maybe they'll be big enough because they have to be 5 foot, 5 or 6 foot tall, and probably about 4 or 5 foot wide. And they're tall, but they're not wide enough. And we cleaned them out because it's too close together. And this summer I
Yeah.
went and put all the lime and stuff up around them, the ones that was there after, I checked them out and everything. But I went down over there and looked, and I told him, I said, all that pine trees and brush and stuff we put down there last year had it was all going, every bit of it. And he said, you're kidding. I said, no, go down there and look. And he went up there, and every bit of it was going clear from the top of the hill, clear down to the where my flowers is at. It's all
Wow.
going, every bit of it.
I'm wondering if it's the Bigfoots that are taking that pine, and like what Frank was saying, I seen him in the background showing it was really big stuff. Also, I wonder what they're doing with it.
They're using it for bedding. They like it for bedding.
The pine boughs and make beds out of them.
Yeah, they take the pine boughs, branches, and make beds out of them.
Lay on.
Wow.
They lay on them for beds. We found them. Where was we at? We was somewhere walking in the woods once, and we seen them laying in a circle, and something had been laying in them. And a bear ain't gonna carry trees off like that. I mean, no, I've never seen a bear carry a tree off or nothing. But we call them. We don't know have no beavers here to carry anything off. We don't have beavers here or nothing.
Well, I don't think a beaver would carry off something that we cut. I don't think. I could probably wrong on that, but I've never heard of them carrying anything off like that. Here's something that's interesting. What Franklin had just put up. I'm going to pull it up on the screen there. I don't know why YouTube is running so slow right now. He says Bigfoot remains are never found over hundreds of years. So that is where the crossing of another dimension comes in. And, I have heard that before. And that's what several people believe, that these Bigfoot, these Sasquatch are capable of going into through these tears in the veil into these other dimensions. And there's several people that are quite, their belief is set that that's what happens. When one of them dies, they carry the body.
Document with Ivan Marks a long time ago. He was a explorer. Well, he took care of animals, went and got cougars and did all kinds of stuff with animals. And he was up in Alaska, and he was wondering what the Bigfoot, if they existed, which he found, he had followed one, and he actually seen it, and then he turned around and started chasing it. He's like, what in the world am I doing chasing this thing? And he just got excited seeing one. And he is showing up there where the ice and stuff was in, where their
ice is breaking off and falling into the ocean.
Yeah, the ice is breaking off and falling in the ocean and stuff up here. And he said that there was all kind of bones and stuff down in the crevices. And he said that the Sasquatch was dropping the dead down in them crevices of the ice, so you didn't see them.
Oh wow! Yeah, it's
he said taking them in the swamp and stuff and burying them because they didn't want us, I guess want us to see them and everything. A lot of times the animals, like the bears or cats or stuff, they'll carry all them bones off somewhere. You never hardly see them. I mean, they're down here. We cleaning our back property. Well, actually got burned off, but we cleaned some off down here, and I found a lot of bones from certain animals. I guess has been here for years, and a lot of them was black, and they was down there buried in them leaves down there. I guess the leaves had covered up, and I was like, well, I wonder if something did that, or if they just blew down over the hill and covered them up themselves.
Oh yeah, there's
that burned off, and all that was burned up and stuff. We used to throw food down there, and he said he didn't feel comfortable about putting food down there anymore because it's probably why he was bothering us there for a while. We put the food out, and then if we had that fire, we quit putting anything else because that burned everything up.
Yeah, he's hungry and aggravated.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you were saying about the bones down in the ice on that Arctic shelf or the Antarctic shelf.
Yeah.
Dean put on here, what about the water burials? Any thoughts? Um, is it true the Native Americans practice this? And the Native Americans, a lot of the tribes did that. They did water burials for their dead. And I seen that. And then you were just speaking about the bones
Mhm.
in the ice that were down in the crevices of the ice. That's it goes hand in hand with what Dean said right there.
Mhm. The Indian people, I did a study on them, because trying to find out if I was Indian or I got a little Indian in me. I was trying to figure out what their culture was, what.
Well, I guess we'll see you here in a little while. She has this. I wasn't expecting her to vacate the building so fast, but uh, she'll come back in. Short. We're at an hour and 10 minutes, so when she pops back in, we'll probably go just a few more minutes. Device not connected. All right, there she is.
You just
Let's see.
just kicked me off.
Well, we're trying to get you on. I don't think you're sitting very good, Sally. There you are. Oh,
Stevie,
when you're done, huh?
yeah, it just cut me off. I was just talking away and off it went. It told me try again.
Oh, I thought you was just done talking. You hit the hang up button and was gone.
No, this thing, when it's done talking, or, well, the phone's done talking, not me, it shuts everything off.
It's got a mind of
It's
its
got a
own.
mind of its own.
Yep,
It's a smart
absolutely.
phone.
Um, well, we waited on you. Yeah, we're gonna be cutting this off here in just a little while. Did you any more of your new stuff that's happened that you'd like to share that you haven't told us?
Uh,
Um,
what
with the
else has happened?
activity,
Look at that alien face.
Oh, on that
Well, we
the
just looked
new
at that
thing that I
today.
sent you this morning on the blue
yeah,
part, it looked like an alien face. I told Joan, I said it kind of looks like an alien looking in the camera, but the camera had gotten frost on the lens somewhere in the night between night and morning. Because I got a lot
yeah,
of pictures of the deer being out there. Because I threw some bread out just to see what would be out there in the wintertime. I usually don't
yeah,
throw anything out in the wintertime because most of the time there ain't nobody out, nothing out there. But um, I was like looking at it, and I asked John, I said, "What's that look like?" And to me, it looks like an alien looking in the camera, but then it kind of looks like there's two deer real close to the camera, or like one close to the camera and two above it. I mean, when you look at it, you can tell me what you think.
yeah. I'll look at them tomorrow. I'm gonna, and whenever we get finished, I'm not even gonna eat. I haven't eaten except for this morning. I'm so tired. I'm just gonna go to bed tonight. I got to be up at. I got to leave here at 4, so I have
Mm.
to get up about 3 o'clock so that I can function and be ready to go by 4. We got a long drive ahead of us, but I will be looking at them, and I'll be I'll email you back or text you back once I look at them, because
Mm.
some of the older pictures, if you still have them, I would like to get a copy of them, and I'm gonna post them on the channel if it's okay with you, so that
Yeah,
everybody can see them.
I have to go and take my thing down or my phone down to Walmart one day, the first of the month, and that guy's going to take all of them off. Some of my pictures got hid for some reason. I don't know what happened to them. I had a whole bunch of them on there, and I don't know if it's the phone is full or I mean the picture thing's
Yeah.
full or what. But he was looking there today, and he's like, some of your pictures that was on here earlier was going, and I said, well, I don't know what happened to them.
Oh
So I'm going
wow.
to take the other
Yeah.
disk and this one down, and they're going to check my files, and they're going to print a bunch of stuff off for me, and then I can put them back on and clear my phone and then redo them. He's
Oh
going to
good.
reset
Good.
up my internet thing for the pictures for me.
Oh good. Yeah, and I'll like that one that you had where the big holes in the concrete walls at your house where they were throwing rocks at the house and knocking chunks out of the concrete. Uh, I definitely want to put that one up because it just shows the power these creatures have. And just to
Yeah, it
respond
took
to,
almost half a can, and even though the holes are small, it took almost a half a can of insulation in the can. It took almost a half
yeah,
a can just to fill one full.
wow.
I mean,
Uh,
he hit it hard. It's a wonder he didn't break the block in two.
yeah,
It's a
yes,
wonder
it
he
is.
come through the thing out there. But we hear him. We have that water tank out there, and once in a while we'll hear something rubbing its hands on the tank. Or one night something was out there hitting it, and I got up, turned the light on, and it took off.
Yeah, he hit
Wow.
that thing, and go boom.
Yeah, making noise. I scared him
Wow.
to death. He's sleeping next to the wall where the tank's at, and I'm sleeping in the middle of the room. We don't sleep together because he has night terrors, and I touch him, he thinks something's in there. He'll come up out of the bed, and I don't want him beating me up. So
Oh yeah, he's locked and loaded. He's ready. I
he's
just want
ready.
to answer. E.M. Tattle. He wanted to know when I was getting together with Carrie in Florida. Um, I believe it's this month. Don't quote me on that. It's just whenever Carrie can get free to do it. And if he's wanting to go out in the field with us, the areas where I go, they're hunting land, and they're most of them are dog hunt. I do not have a permit to be on those properties, and we could get in a lot of trouble for being on them. They just give us a ticket, but if we're carrying firearms, it is a felony. It's a felony trespassing, and so we can't do it until if he's wanting to go out in the field. We can't do that until after hunting season's over, which is I think March 1st, the first week in March. But I just wanted to respond to you. I apologize, everyone. He asked me in the last video and I never responded. I forgot, and I apologize about forgetting. Um, uh, Dean, yes, the links are in the description. Um, Pappy posts them on there sometime. Oh, there it is. Yep, Pappy just posted it. Thank you so much, Pappy. Absolutely, thank you, brother. But yes, you guys, we'll be throughout the year as Sally has more incidences occur and more things happen, and she documents more pictures, whatever she has, we'll be bringing her back on throughout the year where she can give us updates on what's going on. The activity has been with her since she was a small child, and now that she's a grown adult and out on her own, they're having activity just about everywhere that they've lived. And it's not bad activity, nothing bad's happened, but they're having activity. And it sometimes gets to the point where they can't sleep because of the beating on the house, or like Frank had told me when it sounded like something was trying to tear their porch off recently. He said the whole house shook. It hit. I'm sorry?
Yeah. He said it gyrated the whole house because he's laying back there in bed. He jumped about a foot off the bed, just like when we was up there at the other place where we had the hay go over the top of the fence. We had
Yeah.
just we was watching Bigfoot what is they call, or one of Matt Moneymaker and Bobo and all them's in. We was watching Bigfoot
Oh, yeah.
Finders or what it's called, and we
Yeah, I
was
don't
watching that.
remember the name of that.
I forget too, but we just turned it off and decided we was going to go to sleep. And just turned it as soon as it got dark in the house. We heard something like a slate rock hit the side of the trailer because he's in the trailer up there, not in the house.
Wow.
And I mean, it hit it hard, and he jumped about a foot off of the floor and or off of the bed, and I mean, it scared us about half to death.
I
And we
guess
had just
so.
laid down and went to sleep, and it scared him so bad, and you couldn't see out anywhere. We did have a would you have a street light up here?
Yeah, like a,
had a street light, but it was on the wrong side of the house. But it was dark on that one side, and we
Oh,
didn't
wow.
know what it was. But he seen a bear long ripped the one side of the trailer off, but we didn't. It wasn't no bear that did that one night. It had to have been a Bigfoot because it sounded like a slate rock hit the trailer and it checked the whole trailer. We went out the next morning and looked, and the rock was going because you could hear the rock. I mean, it hit it good,
Wow. Well,
and the
that's
rock was going. And what was it? The day or two after that, we went to church and coming back, and we seen a panther come up through off of the other part of the property where we threw the hay,
oh,
and we got in the
wow.
trailer right quick. We seen the panther coming up through the yard, and it didn't
Oh,
take
yeah.
us long to get retreat to the house. We thought we seen a coon down the trail in the tree. Went down to look to see what it was, and I seen that panther coming up there. And then he said he seen something else down below that. We didn't know if a squatch was down, with the panther or
Yeah.
what was with it, but we got in the house and we didn't know what was going on. And behind what in that your dad's bedroom where his dad used to sleep at before we put him in the nursing home, he got real bad. We slept in there one night and something hit the whole back side of the thing. We thought that we were going to knock the windows clear out of the trailer.
they even brought him out of bed.
Yeah, it brought him out of the bed. He's like, "What are you kids are doing?" I said, "We're." He come clear in there. He goes, "What are you kids doing?" And we're like, "We're not doing nothing. We're in bed." He
Yeah,
thought
that,
it was
Something hit the
us.
house
He
and
said something hit the house
really shook it.
and it shook the house, and he said he about fell out of the bed.
wow. Did you see the interview that we did with JK?
And I lost your voice again, Donnie.
Oh, yeah. That's on your end. Uh, I let's see. Check her mic. Yeah, that's on your end.
And I still can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how to get it to her.
Fix the plate paper right on no sound.
No, he can hear me.
Yeah.
You can hear me,
Yeah.
can't you, Donnie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can hear me. I just can't hear you.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to teach you how to do sign language, Donnie.
Oh, I'd mess that up for sure. Um. Well. Yeah. I don't. I can't figure it out.
Give up.
I'll shut mine off again and come back on.
All right. Here. We'll remove her. Yes. We had the same problem. It's on her end because she's on the her cellular signal, and we had the same problem the last couple of times that she joined us. So it's no big deal. We're going to be closing it out here in just a little bit. For you guys that I missed, I didn't um, welcome welcome you to the show. I apologize. We're trying to get her in. I'm so tired, and this was a spur of the moment. Well, it was planned, but I couldn't make it back home in time to get a proper um, banner put up to give you guys a good head's notice. I came in and within 25 minutes of getting home, I was already going live with this, and so it was just the time was gone. I didn't have time to do everything ahead of schedule, and I apologize for that. I just wanted to, I thought I'd get her on.
Yeah, and I was sitting there waiting on him.
Yeah, I had to drive. Chris hurt his back, and so I had to drive all the way back, and so I wasn't able to text her or to respond. And the phone screen is so bright whenever I turn it on, and I didn't want to be blinded as I was driving. Yeah, good night, you guys. Good night, Michael. All of you that have joined us, Juanita, all of you guys, thank you so much. We love you, we honor you, and bless you. And we're so thankful that y'all joined us tonight. It's always good to see everyone.
Yeah, good night, people.
And we had where did it go? I just seen, where'd Cynthia go? Oh, there she is. Johnny on the spot. Good night, my brother. So good to see all of you. And Butch and Joan and Sharon, absolutely. Um, yeah, I just seen where Cynthia had posted this, where there's endless miles of underground caverns, and those are just the ones that we humans know about. I suspect we haven't got a clue of just how vast and far-reaching these caves are, and there is so much truth to that. Marianna, Florida, where I had my encounter, is that it's known for the caves, the caverns, Marianna Caverns State Park. I just happened to see that on there, and I wanted to throw it up. That area where Sally and Frank live, there's a lot of caves up there in the mountains, and in my opinion, I believe that's where these creatures go. When you're 9 or 10 foot tall, you can't just lay out behind a little rock somewhere. You really got to get somewhere that you're safe and you're not going to be hunted down. And I think the caves
We
is
had
where.
a little bit of activity in the wintertime. We've had, what was it? That was when I was telling you about the rock being thrown 30 foot from the bottom of the hill up to the house. Because it had
Yeah,
snowed out here. And there was no tracks at all in the yard. Because I went out and get the camera, or not the camera, but the disc
the
every
card.
day out of the camera,
Yeah.
and to bring it in to check see what was out there the night before. And I looked all over the yard when I walked. I always look everywhere because I'm very even looking at trees. I look everywhere when I'm out there, and I've even seen like where look like there's brush there, and there ain't no brush down in there in that one place. But look like there's a bunch of brushes sitting, down below that one tree, and there ain't nothing down there. It's all open down through there. But at
Oh
night,
wow.
it looks like there's brush down through there. But there was no tracks at all in the snow. Well, I mean, we had snow before Christmas, and on Christmas, and we haven't had any since then. We had a dusting this morning, which got on the camera. I don't know. You'll have to look at that picture. That kind of bothers me on that
Yeah,
one, but
I'll be looking at them tomorrow. It'll probably be late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, whenever I get home. We'll have everything finished tomorrow. It's just most of it's driving. We got a pretty good drive ahead of us,
yeah,
and I don't know the way. And I was just steering and pushing the pedal and turning when he said turn, and so I have no idea how to get there. But
yeah.
I drive to his house, and then from his house we ride. He's got a big truck, a big rig, and so we ride with him. My car can't haul the stuff that we're having to carry. Um, and I'll throw this up more time, and we're fixing to close it down, guys. We've been on an hour and a half, and we will be bringing Miss Sally back on. She's part of our family. We love her, and her and her husband Frank. I've got a personal relationship with them. We're close. We talk all the time. I want to.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
pray.
I'm sorry.
We
I
pray
was
for
waiting for it
we pray
to
for-
pop up. Uh, Franklin put on there again. I believe the Bigfoot spends most of their time in other dimensions. There's so many people that believe in that, and I never did believe in that dimension thing, but as of 4 or 5 months ago, I've witnessed some things that are really. I'm leaning toward that now. Um,
Mhm.
I've seen stuff that does not make sense if you don't look at it in a supernatural fashion. It doesn't make any sense. And so I don't know. These things puzzle me. And Patrick wanted to know where Hinton, West Virginia is.
No, I'm not sure where that is. It's not close to me or nothing.
Yeah, I've
I
seen it
think
earlier.
I seen some pretty houses there when I was looking for when we was going to sell our place, and we didn't want to leave because of Bigfoot. We just wanted to leave because we don't have the money to keep fixing us up. But the church had helped us to
Yeah,
fix our roof and do a few things here. so we decided to stay. And but I seen a lot of houses there in Hinton that was really beautiful. I wouldn't mind living in a couple of them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What you
I like to look
down
at houses, but the house that I would have to have would be way up in the mountains, in the woods somewhere.
right out.
Yeah, he doesn't. He'll do that.
And we got. Oh, did I miss it? Well, it's trying to come through. I wanted to. Come on now, get up there. YouTube is acting up tonight for some reason. Yeah, it's not. Oh, there it's coming up slowly. This is just from JK. He's part of our family here also, and he just said, good show tonight. Thanks, Donnie and Miss Sally.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you for
JK.
watching.
Yeah, thank you guys for showing up and being part of this with us. You know, without y'all, this ain't gonna happen. It requires all of us. We're a family. You guys are part of our family, and it takes all of us together to work as a union. And because of you guys, we're where we are at right now, and I believe it's all at the helm of Holy Spirit. He's putting us where we need to be, and so things are good. But guys, we're gonna be closing it up. I appreciate y'all. Just what the moderators doing what they do, and I don't think we've had any issues at all. It's been a wonderful night, and it's always just awesome having Sally come on and hang out with us and tell us about the experiences that she has. And it's been going on, and it's pretty crazy some of the stuff that happens to them up there, and it's just her and Frank living there. They don't have
Yeah.
extra help, and they do a tremendous amount of work. They have to haul water in, and they got a huge container that they got to haul water up to the house, and firewood. It's a lot of work, and they're doing
Yeah.
that on their own.
We
And
here recently we lost our truck. Our truck went out on us, so we had to
yeah,
hire somebody to pay them to bring water and wood in for us right now because we don't have the money right now. We're going to have to get a trailer or something and hook it. We got a blazer, and we'll have to get a trailer and stick it on there and haul our wood in. I mean, not our wood, but our water in. He's going to bring the wood for us, but we're going to have to get the water in ourselves.
maybe we get everybody to pray that God will send a trailer your way. That way, y'all aren't uh, having to wait so long to try to get the money up, because people are getting really out there on prices for trailers. We looked and looked, and I just gave up. I can't afford what we're asking.
Yeah, they said that they had a trailer, like one of the trailer things down at Tractor Supply for like $500 or $600. We got to have
Yeah, I
like
haven't.
$500 or $600 to go get it though.
Yeah, the small one that our Tractor Supply has is a 5x8 trailer, single axle, and it was $998 or
Something like he's talking.
Frank said we probably need the size that you was gonna, said that
Size you were talking
about the size you was talking about for our blazer to haul our water in ourselves.
yeah. Yeah, you probably haul the water and the wood and just knock out the middleman, so you're not paying so much money. It's
We pay a good
we
bit of
want
it.
to put here.
Pay him $100 to bring the wood, and then $20 to get the water, because he's got coming all the way from where he lives up to where we are, and get the water tank, go all the way down into town, get the water, and then come all the way back. And we live about 10 miles from town. We live about 10 miles from town,
and that's just
and
into the Walmart.
and then he has to go all the way down and drop
Yeah.
get the water, and then come all the way back up, drop the water off, and then go back home. And that's a long ways for him because he lives in another county, close to where we live at.
Well, thank God he's doing it. But I think the Lord will provide a way and save you guys some money and make it easier on you. And we'll be praying here under our roof. We'll be praying for you that things get easier, and life would just fall more in your favor and in your hands than everyone else. But thank you again.
Um, we need to pay for our country between now and June and July, because Linda Mountain Howe was on the other night, and she said that around June the 30th to July the 7th, that the government is supposed to tell us that the aliens are true and the Bigfoots are true, if they do it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to have a lot of I was really concerned about the exposing everything, and it's just uh, spiritually I'm more interested in on when our Lord's going to return. Because as soon as He returns, all this mess will be over with, and we can have a wonderful life, and there won't be no more hatred and anger and all this nonsense that's happening these days. We're all from the same Father. We all carry
Yeah.
the same organs, the same blood, and people hate each other because of slight indifferences, and there's just no
Mhm.
room for it. But guys, thank you all. Thank you all so much. Sally, don't go nowhere yet. Um,
Okay.
we love all of you. I will be seeing you guys soon. We have another show coming up. I don't know if I'll be able to do it tomorrow night. Um, I'm probably going to be extremely exhausted when I get home tomorrow night, but possibly Monday. And I'll try to put um, the banner up, the heads up banner, as early as I can possibly get it up. And hopefully everybody will get the notification. But thank you guys. Thank all of you for coming
Good
here.
night,
Thank you,
everybody.
moderators.
Thanks for coming
We
on.
love you. Yes, absolutely. And we love all of you guys. God bless you. And if
Good
you
night,
need me for
Papa.
anything, you guys, you have my email. Reach out to me anytime if there's anything I can do to help you guys. And until then, y'all have a wonderful evening. And until next time, be safe. We love you.